Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. I know. Show number 3. Can't sleep tonight. Sam Radio Live, show number 105. Please hit the subscribe button. We still don't put ads here. We won't put ads here. Why? Because, frankly, yours truly hates hitting the skip ad button when I watch YouTube, so I don't want you to either. I just ask that you subscribe to the channel. If you do so, it will help people to find us in the YouTube search algorithm. So, we've talked a little bit about the Icom 7300. We're going to be listening in. We're not going to be making calls probably, but we'll be listening in on my favorite DX net. Now, a dear friend of mine, WB2REM, does a great DX net here. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to have the camera off. At 7163, it starts at 5 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so 5 a.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. GMT. All right, so 10 a.m. GMT, you'll be able to pick it up at 7163. It's fantastic. But before we do that, the Icom 7300 has been around since 2016. It's the first box with knobs SDR. I think SDR's got a bad rap to begin with because they needed a computer to make them work originally when the Flex Radio introduced their Flex 1000, right? Needed a computer to tether to it, no box with knobs. You needed a computer, and then you had to run it with a mouse. Well, some Flex radios are still the same way, but the Icom 7300 was the first SDR radio that actually allowed you to control it without a computer. Made it special. So, we're going to listen in, but I'm going to show you a little trick, just a little audio trick for noise reduction, something I use, and it's something that I haven't found on my AC radios, which I wish they did. It was a little easier to use it, at least to tune it in for sound. Let me show you a trick if you do have a 7300 that you can use to help increase the legibility of your incoming signal. Now keep in mind, I'm also using the Heil parametric receive audio system here in the chain too, and that can make a difference. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the Heil so you don't hear the signal coming in from the radio, okay? Well, if I do that, you're not going to hear the signal coming from the radio. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and run it flat. So we'll just run the parametric receive audio system flat, but you'll be able to hear what it sounds like. Okay, let's take a look at the rig. This is a trick with all Icom 7300s. When you go in and you go to the menus, one of the menus that you can adjust, which is a fantastic menu. Now, at first, it's pretty self-explanatory, but most people won't dig too deep. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You go to the menu and you hit set. Okay, first one is tone control. Now I know this is difficult to see. I'm going to try and bring this camera in a little closer for this video and probably subsequent videos, so I want you to see the screen. It's one of those things a little too hard to do without you seeing what we're doing. Okay, so first one you see is tone control, or TBW, which stands for total bandwidth. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to press that button. Oops, back up, sorry. Easy to back up. All you do is just hit the back button every time. Okay, so it asks you next, do you want to control the tone of your transmit signal or your receive signal? In this case, we're going to go to the receive, we're going to hit RX, and we're going to select which mode we want. We're going to select SSB, okay? Now, there's two ways to do this. You can either adjust your receive bass and receive treble, which sounds pretty simple, right? You can just adjust your bass and treble and away you go. I don't like that way to do it. I'm not a real fan of doing it that way. I'd rather adjust the high pass and low pass filter, which is your top setting. The top setting allows you to adjust the frequencies that you hear. Now, we've talked about this many, many times on the channel, tons of times, about where the received signal is really heard. Typically mid-range, right? You'll always usually hear most of your intelligibility of the human voice on the mid-range end, okay? So what we're doing here is we're focusing more on dialing into that mid-range, okay? Mid-range typically on the voice is going to be between 800 hertz and 2.5 kilohertz. So you might ask, well, why wouldn't we go up higher on the high-pass filter? Well, it goes up to 2.4, but we're going to try and knock out some of the hash that you hear on the radio. So on this particular radio, at least I found for my settings, right about 200 to 2000 hertz is where you want to be. I'll show you what the difference in sound is when you adjust this. Okay, again, this is on the Icom 7300. Also, the 7610 and 9700 feature the same settings. So does the 705, all right? This is the DXNet. It's run out of Florida, okay? A dear friend of mine. His name is Jim. He's a wonderful ham. He is so devoted to doing this channel. This is a net. It's the 7.163 net. It's a DX net. So you're trying to make calls all over the world. That's what they do. He does it every day. Every single day, 7 days a week, he runs this net. WB2REM is out of the east coast of Florida. Let me go ahead and get you back to the rig. We're going to listen in, keeping in mind we may not hear all the DX or we may miss all of it. We're on the west coast, and it's much easier for people on the east coast to work Europe. Much of their calls come from Europe, but some don't. So let's take a look, and we'll hear how the sound changes as we listen to a real ham radio DX net. For our new hams or future hams, DX means outside of our country. Okay, so let's turn this up. Again, this is a 7.163 net. It starts at 20 Zulu. Sorry, 10 Zulu. Pardon me, 10 Zulu daily. Now listen how the tone will change as we adjust. First, we'll adjust the low pass. You hear it pitching higher. Wait for someone to transmit. Barely hear anything, right? Here I got louder. Okay, same thing on the other side. Low pass filter. Let's take a listen. Now that's maxed. It goes to 2.4. Keep in mind, this is very hard to pick up DX, okay?
No, I'm playing towards the end right now. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a Asian station. I don't know. Say Ontario. But Ed, are you hearing us in Montana? Oh, so Yankee Bravo. How did I not know that? Yeah, you get totally different propagation down there, Jim. I don't hear those Yankee Bravos. Yeah, well, let me see if I get my neighbors here. Ontario, the frequency has been used. WB2REM. Yankee Bravo, the frequency has been used. Okay, who's playing with that?
See, when you cut it too narrow, you start to lose the voice. That's what's going on here. Hear it? It's ever so slight, but it's there. Now, another trick with the 7300, it's very easy. I leave the bass and treble alone, okay? I don't touch it. I leave it alone from there. I just use the high pass and low pass, okay? The other trick you do is with the 7300, again, you have 3 filters. You have 3 kilohertz, you have 2.4 and 1.8. Listen to the difference in the 3. We're down to 1.7. Keep in mind, I'm not adjusting the Heil parametric receive whatsoever. Okay, so when you're adjusting your twin bass band tuning, which is the twin TBT button right here, it's difficult to see, and it's my apologies there. It's just the lighting tonight. But when you adjust this, listen to the difference in how it works for folks that might be interested in the 7300. First, we'll deal with the noise reduction. Let's do that first, okay? We'll take noise reduction and we'll bring it all the way down. Add a little bit at a time. See, it starts to wash it out. Okay, so on your twin passband tuning, watch what happens. We're just going to adjust the passband, and it's just going to move it to the slightly to the right, to the left.
Yeah, I think it's a cheaper band. It's a problem because I haven't been on CW, ever since I got into FT8, I maybe made, other than a contest, maybe 10 CW things.
What you're doing, if you take a look at the orange, that's the pass band. We're narrowing the receive pass band in the orange. We're narrowing it down. You see the bandwidth button there, the bandwidth display 1.7, all right? So that gives you an idea if you can see it. I don't know if you can on here. Barely, I'm sorry, my friends. So barely can see it at 1.7. Trying to get you as good a view as I can. Now let's say you say, oh my gosh, I'm frustrated, it's not working well. Similar to Elecraft rigs, if you hold the main black button in, it resets back to neutral. Watch. See? Right back to 2.4. It'll work for all 3 filters in this radio the same exact way.
Yeah, don't talk failure that he will die. So anybody just joined us down there, probably earlier. Jay, who was Joel's friend, said that he thinks that the thing that Carol would most appreciate is a personal letter about your relationship with Joel and what he means to you and that sort of thing. So I think we're going to be able to suggest others to do that. thinks you'll get more out of that, Donovan. Oh, man, that's a great idea. I'll sit down and do that this morning.
So that is Jim. His name is Jim Milner. He is WB2REM. He's out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. I think I have a little bit of maybe some fingerprints. I've been touching that lens. I'm trying to get you a little better view of it. Let's take another look at it, see if it's a little bit clearer. I hope it will. No, it is a focus issue. I usually am careful on my lenses not to touch them, but it just having a hard time, I think, with this 4K camera. So let me try and get in a little better. I'm trying to work this and not bump the mic a whole lot and make this at least semi-watchable for you. Okay? Kind of a tough night. Having a hard time sleeping tonight. Anyway, so this is a 7.163 net. It is every single day, literally 7 days a week. Jim, WB2REM, runs it. We're going to try to see if they can hear us, okay? Keep in mind, this would be a coast-to-coast QSO. It's about 2,800 miles using 100 watts with the 7300. We'll see if they can hear us, okay? I'm not sure. I can't. This is flying by the seat of your pants radio, folks. Hang on.
WB2REM.
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
Okay, there's two stations calling. Let me just get Stevie saying 73. Steve, don't be a stranger in the new year. WB2REM. See you later. Happy New Year. Who was the other station?
Kilo 7 Hotel November. Hey, Jim. He's going to move his directional beam. Bless his heart.
7810 WB2REM. You copy now?
QSL Jim, I'm just doing a quick YouTube show. I'm telling folks about your DXNet. Thanks for tuning the beam over.
Okay, real good. Well, good to hear you, Larry. You're about, I don't know, 5.6 in here right now.
I'll take a 5.6. I'm only running 100 watts out of a 7300. I'll give you a 73, Jim. We'll be listening. WB2REM, K7HN on the side. Thanks, buddy, and God bless you. Happy New Year.
Okay, see you later on there, Larry. WB2REM going back to the vertical.
There you go. Okay, so 100 watts, coast to coast. Okay, so, and that's also, keep in mind, folks, you know, I had a question from Ron on Thursday. It was on Christmas Eve. Ron asked with the 7300, he asked about DX. He said, well, how well does it do DX? What I can tell you, Ron, is from where I am here in the United States, I'm at the top left corner and Jimmy's the far right lower corner. It's roughly 2,500 to 2,600 miles away, 5.6. That's 100 watts on this, 7,300. That speaks for itself. It's an overland QSO. There's no water to help it. So, and the band conditions aren't the greatest. So I'm real happy with that. I mean, that's a 100 watt radio off of a 30-foot vertical running 100 watts, almost 2,500 miles. Hi, Stephen. Good to see you. Hello, my friend. Happy Sunday to you in the UK. It's a treat to see you this morning. Thank you for being here. I do mean it. I do mean it. So, folks, if you ever have a chance to, I really invite you to pop over to 7.163. It always starts at the exact same time. So I can tell you for sure, if you tune in at 10 Zulu, so 10 hours Zulu daily, you'll find the 7.163 net. And folks listen to it, I should say, from all over the country. It's fantastic. It's my favorite net of all. Jim is not only a gentleman, he's a really nice guy. And for me personally, I think the world of him. He's one of those guys in the ham radio that, I think what I admire the most about Jim is I admire his dedication, is the best way to put it. Yeah. It's just his dedication is amazing. That QSO is 2,643 miles away with 100 watts. Okay. Again, vertical antenna, 30 feet up. That's pretty good. We'll take it. Now, I don't see a whole lot of other activity right now that's on 40 meters, and that's where we're at right now. I could go to 80, but to be quite honest, I think we're good at where we're at. I just want to show you more the settings that you can use for the 7300 that are outside, just adjusting bass and treble. Most people just think bass and treble. It's better if you can to use high cut and low cut filters so you can focus on the mid range. See, bass and treble don't help, especially bass. Bass kills you, and treble puts more hiss into the hash anyway, which doesn't help you either. So instead, by focusing on high and low pass filters, you can instead squeeze the pass band down to bring you more mid range, which is exactly what you want to do. So again, if you want to see real quick on my settings on the 7300, at least the way that I like to use it, your ears may different. Yours may be different. As they say, your mouths may vary. Okay. Just go to settings, go right up to the first one, which is tone control or tone bandwidth. So hit here, hit RX, and you'll select your mode, SSB, and it's different for every one of them. And then you can adjust either bass, treble, or your high pass and low pass filter. I run mine at 200 to 2000. That's it. And for me, it works brilliantly. Now you add that to the ARRL parametric receive system. What does it sound like? Let's give a quick listen and we'll see what kind of changes this makes when you have it already set to focus on mid-range, but then add some.
All the people that are on the headset, all have typical thousands of them. It depends on the platform. Are they wireless? I don't know the details, but I know it's the brand. So
Here it got quieter, less hash. Okay, now we'll add, now we're going to add a little more. So we're going to add more mid-range, but by doing so, we're also going to introduce some more noise into it.
in the upper mid-range, great articulation. So it works with female and male voices and everything. Great, good design.
Louder, right?
Very professional.
Not touching the output, just touching the mid-range. So now we're at 2.5 kilohertz of mid. Bring it back down. Listen how much more quiet it gets. This is why I say I use it as a digital noise reduction tool. Listen.
If you had a wired microphone or your taking away from your radio station, you can't touch it. Will be one advantage. I'm sitting on my laptop and watch a few minutes.
And that's it. That's it. So that's when you can combine both the equalizer that's in the 7300, but not using bass and treble, instead focusing on mid by using high pass and low pass filters inside it. And if you compare it to the ARRL parametric receive audio system, it really helps to just dive right in to that mid-range, remove the hash, but also take out some of that bass that just kills DX QSOs. It's a great combination. It's another great example of the power of the 7300. It really works well. The filters work well. You know, the high cut, low cut filters, the bandwidth adjustments, brilliant. It's a radio I've had a ball with. It's fun to use. It's one of those radios that, you know, it's like I say, it's a very polarizing radio. It's interesting to me how polarizing the 7300 is. I know one person who's a friend who hates it, just absolutely hates it. And I have people that swear by it. So I've got to tell you my opinion. I think it's a wonderful radio, especially for the money. You can do an awful lot with it. But I think one of the best parts of this radio is its adjustability, especially when it comes to that mid-range. You can really adjust it in. I know the Yaesus have the parametric. I know that Kenwoods have the best speaker sound. I just like how this adjusts. That's all I can say. I just like how it adjusts. One correction I want to make. The last show between the FTDX10 and 7300, I want to make sure you understand the FTDX10 does have the ability to record QSOs on its SDR card. That's an upgrade from the 101s whose SDR card were only used to keep screen settings, screen and radio settings. I swear, that's all they did. That's all the SDR cards did. Now I'm sure Yaesu is probably going to come through with a firmware update so folks can record off their SDR cards, because that's what they should be doing anyway, right? You'd think. So I would assume, since the technology is already on the 10 and the 10 borrowed it from the 101, I'm sure Yaesu engineers will find a way to make that upgrade soon. So that's it. A little bit of some noise reduction tools using the Icom 7300, as well as how you can use the not the parametric, excuse me, just the EQ, but not using bass and treble, using your high cut, your low pass filters. I should say high pass and low pass. All right, that's it for now. I'm going to hopefully get some sleep here soon. My back will calm down. We're ready to roll. Until tomorrow, I guess, which is today. Have a good evening. Take care. For you folks in the UK, like Steve, who checked in, have a very wonderful Sunday. Till then, God bless you, everybody. Bye-bye.